search and graduate school applications.
Yeah, this is career coach 101 here. This is like you were in it.
It's important to know that you can use those skills, and not only use those, but a tip is that you can put that on your resume.
So having that connection to yourself and to your family. Hi, and welcome to Career View Mirror. I'm your host, Joyel Crawford, and today's special guest is Dr. Michelle Fritsch. She is a healthcare professional, board certified in care for people over 60. She's a nationally recognized expert in health at retirement and beyond. And as a frequent speaker, author, and contributor to national initiatives, she uses her experience to help you identify your goals for healthy living, find the supporting resources that are right for you, and navigate the healthcare system and map a plan to navigate the common pitfalls in retirement. Welcome, Michelle. Welcome to Career View Mirror.
Joyel, I am thrilled to be here. I'm so glad that we met several months ago, and I appreciate this invitation.
Excellent. So how would you specifically describe your career?
I'm a clinical pharmacist, but I'm different than what a lot of people think of when they think of pharmacist. And so I am focused on people like you mentioned who are 50, 60 plus. Retirement is coming up, or maybe it just started. And after years in healthcare, I saw that for a lot of people, that's not an easy transition. And sometimes they find themselves with rapidly declining health. Their relationships fall apart. They go into a despair that is completely preventable. And so that's become my passion. I've got to get in there and figure out how to help people navigate that differently so that they're very fulfilled. They impact their families in a positive way, maybe even their communities in a positive way, once they have that flexibility of retirement, whatever that looks like for them.
Right, because this is a huge piece. People are working longer, they're working later in life, and that transition can be very challenging. I just know from witnessing my own mom trying to ease into retirement, and she just kept going back to work and going back. Right. Taking on these little side gigs, and she just couldn't seem to separate herself. But then once she did it, once she was able to ease into the retirement transition, there's no going back. So it's helpful to have a guide to get you through that next transition in life. And it's important to be proactive. And that's why I like having you on the show, is so that our viewers and listeners can be proactive about this type of preparation. I mean, when you got started in it, what kind of what was the catalyst that triggered you to get involved in creating your business?
It's 1,000 things. And I'm sure that's true of most of the people on the show, where a number of events and stories of patients and people that I saw, and kind of figure out where are the holes in our healthcare today, kind of came together in this epiphany that, oh my goodness, if we could help this group of people navigate this transition, everybody wins.
Everybody.
And right now, healthcare is very reactive. Something bad happens to you, we swoop in and we take care of you, but we're not preventing that thing from happening. So I'm like, that's where I need to be.
That is very important. And I think it's almost like businesses sometimes, once you retire from an organization or retire from a business, it's kind of like, okay, it's not my
problem. Here.
Here's your check, here's your gold watch, and you keep on moving. And I think that that's important, especially when you're going into that stage of life. You've worked so hard. How do you reap the benefits of all of that hard work in a way that's easy for not only the transitioner, but easier for the families that are involved as well? So I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just thinking, two types of people that worry me the most are the ones who are like, I will never retire. One man actually told me they will pry the keyboard out of my cold, dead hands. And I was like, oh, please. And then that's almost what happened. Oh. It was so sad. And then also people that retirement comes before they're ready. retirement is thrust upon them, and there are so many feelings around that, so many emotions, that it's a good time to help people. But even other people, it's almost like they're looking through a muddy windshield and they're afraid to press on the gas because you can't see. And as soon as we clear that up and they see where they're going, they get really excited about it. I've had people move their retirement closer to today because now they're excited about it.
Ooh, well, I'm definitely a few steps away. Not quite there yet, but I am thinking about it more and asking more questions. I mean, do you have any tips for anyone who wants to pursue the type of career that you have, being this healthcare professional in the space of retirees?
Yes, because we've got a lot of healthcare professionals, and I'm building a team of people because it's not all stuff that a pharmacist can do. But we've got to change that mindset from wait until they get sick and then do something to that prevention side. And a lot of times that means figuring it out, creating that path, creating the tools that help people do that yourself rather than wait for somebody else to do it. So there's got to be a creative side. And that's a little bit tricky because as healthcare professionals, when you think about personality types, to be a great healthcare professional, you've got to be somebody who is so precise. You're going to kill somebody if you get it wrong. So you've got to be super detail oriented. It's rare to find somebody who can do that and be creative. So I'm looking for those super special people.
So if you are listening and watching, she is hiring, so that she just put out the job description. If you are detail oriented and creative, and you're looking to help people who are transitioning into their retirement phase of life, who need that help with transitioning, give her a call. I'll put her information in the bottom of the episode, so you can definitely make sure to reach out. Now, I had a quick question about this, Michelle. Did you have to get any type of special certifications or credentials to get you into the path that you're in right now?
I did. Here are the ones that I've gotten. I don't know that they would be necessary, but in my path, these are the ones that have gotten me there. So I went to pharmacy school. So I got and I'm of an age where I got a bachelor's degree and then a doctorate. Right now, that's an entry-level doctorate. Like you don't stop up in the middle. So then a doctorate, and then I did a postdoctoral residency program where I started to really focus on people out in the community, like primary care and geriatrics. And then I became board certified in geriatrics, which is just an added credential, kind of tells the world that you're really focused in this space. And then my most recent credential was I went through a certified purpose mentor program, because sometimes people are like, well, what does a pharmacist have to do with purpose? And so, but if you don't have a purpose, it so directly negatively impacts your health.
Absolutely.
So I felt like that was just a piece in my toolbox.
You know, it's interesting. I never thought of retirement as another part of your career path, but it is.
Yeah.
It is. And, the same type of thing that, that I do and coach my current clients in developing their purpose is the same thing that you would need as you are entering into this other path of your career, which is retirement. So it's a fantastic add-on and certification to get. That makes sense to me. That totally makes sense.
And it changes. What is your purpose when you're raising your children changes, or what is your purpose when you're building your company, or when you're reaching your retirement goals, or whatever is different than what maybe your purpose and passion in that next phase of life.
Absolutely. Everything changes. And I think that's the biggest piece too, Michelle. It's that everything changes, and change doesn't come easily for a lot of people, especially in that transition. It's scary, it's the unknown. You're not like this person that you said, you're gonna have to pry my cold dead hands off of the keyboard, because our identities are so fused with what we do, not who we are, but what we do. It's almost like what we do is who we are. And so do you have to help people with that divorce of identity?
Absolutely. So like one example that I love is a man that was an airline executive. He'd been in the airlines and been in that executive suite for a long time, didn't want to talk about retirement. I haven't worked with him very much directly, but he read my book and thought about it. And he decided he just really has a passion for babies and knows how important it is at birth and in those early days for children to have that human connection.
Mhm.
So he goes to the NICU and holds newborns. Isn't that beautiful?
So beautiful. And as a former preemie, that like makes me like, that warms my heart even more.
Yes. It has nothing to do with being an airline executive.
Nothing to do with it at all, completely. But he found his joy. And
Yeah.
that is a beautiful testimonial to the work that you're doing with your clients. It's fabulous.
Thank you.
So let's talk about you and how you manage your work. What's one myth about working in the field that you wish that you could eliminate?
Can I have two?
Yes, you can.
One, on the pharmacist side, I still think our society thinks of pharmacist as put the pill in the bottle and hand you the bottle.
Yes. Thank you.
So much more. And so I've got more training about the medications and how they work. And in my case specifically, how they change and work as we age, than all of my healthcare colleagues. Just as a pharmacist, that's where we focus our training, not all the other stuff. That's where we're focused. And so that's one. The other one is that retirement's just this natural transition and you don't need help with that. You know, maybe you collect dollars and so you make sure that you're financially prepared, but I don't think it's on people's radar screen to think about how difficult that transition is, as you were just saying, and that you could really use some help to make a smooth transition with all these other aspects as well.
Yeah, I mean, I even have a hard time just resting in general. And so that's what I'm teaching myself, this year is just incorporating rest. So what does that look like, when you're not doing a 9 to 5 or a, 40 plus hour work week? What does active rest look like so that you don't envision yourself in front of the TV just watching, reruns all day? So yeah, it definitely helps to have that, break that myth that that there's more to retirement than that. Yes. So what gets you out of the bed in the morning? We know what gets some of your clients out of bed in the morning is still working, but what's your why, Michelle?
Well, and my why has changed over time because I was a professor for over 25 years full-time. I have had some clinics served underserved populations. I've done some really fun things. But as soon as I was given this epiphany that there's a hole in this area and the suicide rate is going up, the divorce rate is going up, the number of people who seem fine and they retire and their health plummets is going up. This boomer generation in particular, and no one's addressing it. So I'm like, that's where I need to be. And so now that's my why. It's my excitement. I'm like, I can do more. I can do more. I can do more.
So you're seeing that your audience, or you're being called to the needs of what's going on in the organization. That's what your why is to make sure that people aren't suffering in silence, especially as we become more isolated in the situation that we're in right now. Help them move through that. That's fantastic. So speaking of career paths and what have you experienced any challenges in your career? And how did you combat them? I know we only have time for a short show, but what are some top challenges that you've experienced in your career?
So many, but I can tell you, I honestly am grateful for them now because I see how each one kind of prepares you for the next thing. And I was early in my career, I saw somebody who described a career path as not a straight line, but it goes all over the place.
Yes.
And so that helped prepare me. But even from the start, being a woman in the health professions at a time when it was very male dominated, when I went into pharmacy, there were no female deans, very few, if any, female department chairs. very few like women in the executive leadership of healthcare systems. And so it was before FMLA, it was before so many things we take for granted now. So like one little story is I remember being pregnant, very planned, that's where my husband and I were in our lives, but going to negotiate maternity benefits and being told that's why our wives stay home and raise our children.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness.
How do you respond to that?
I mean, like if it's almost like Back to the Future, like if you were witnessing this and then like from now and witnessing this in the past, my jaw is on the floor as an HR professional. It's like the most illegal thing that you could possibly say to somebody.
But back in those days, in the 80s and 90s, those were common statements. I was told if you plan to have children during the tenure track, you'll never be tenured. And those things were not uncommon. And so it feels good in a way to have experienced that, and that allows me to be more proactive to help younger women to make sure that all that kind of stuff goes away.
Yes, indeed. No more of that. Indeed. How would you, this is my favorite question to ask on Career Guru.
Okay.
And, if you could talk to little Michelle, the younger Michelle, what career advice or leadership tips would you share with the younger you?
That is a beautiful question. And we could go so many directions, but honestly, when you think about who are the people and the events that have allowed you to get to where you are now. So I kind of put it in that context. It's the people that say, yes, you can. No, that's never been done before. That's a total wackadoodle idea, but you should do it. You can do it. Versus the many more people who are like, oh yeah, that's never been done. That's not the place to spend your time. Why don't you just get a regular job? You don't need all this stress, So I've learned to surround myself as much as I can with the can-do people. And it's so refreshing to be around them.
It's got to be uplifting to have the yes you can, surrounding yourself with the yes you can, lifting you up.
Yes.
Versus this constant feeling of being pushed down, especially when you have a vision or a goal that you want to achieve. That's great advice for little Michelle.
Wish she'd had more of it back then.
But you latched on to the few that you did find, and
amazing people have crossed my path. I owe so much to them.
That's fantastic advice. I really appreciate all the tips and techniques and nuggets that you've shared with us. Is there anything that so we've already told people that you're hiring for your practice. We've got information about your book, but is there anything else out there for our listeners to just kind of keep in mind? Any tips for them that you may want to have them keep top of mind before working with you, or to consider working with you?
I would just say really have a passion for people and to identify these holes in healthcare and want to be part of the changes that are coming, because our whole world's undergoing so much transition on the health side right now. The way our healthcare system looks right now, I think it will be dramatically different in a few years. Mm-hmm. And so I'm looking for people that want to ride the wave and maybe create some of that rather than wait for it to happen or fight the change happening. So looking for those really proactive, passionate people.
Yeah, I hate to use the word disruptor because that's been like overused so much, but I do feel that you're looking for people to shake it up, and really get ahead of the wave of change, right? So that it doesn't topple you over.
Well, and I bet you've had the same kind of hearing a little bit about your career path. I've been called that a lot. And sometimes it's a negative thing, right? People are like, stop messing things up. Just let us be. And then sometimes it's recognized as, wow, we can do something different. Let's figure it out.
Absolutely. Sometimes it pays to just be a little noisy.
I've never been called quiet.
Oh, no, neither. Neither am I. I think if I interviewed all of my teachers from elementary school and beyond, they would never say that. There would be something wrong if they said that I was quiet.
Exactly.
Well, you keep on shouting and keep on advocating for retirees, Michelle Fritsch. And I'm going to get your name right, Michelle Fritsch. And I'm just overjoyed with the fact that this is another part of somebody's career path as they're looking at their career view mirror in the back, that they can look to you to help them figure out what's going on and moving forward. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me. This was so much fun.
Michelle Fritsch can be found online, and we've got all of her information. She's got her book, she's got handouts on her website. If you go to retirewellness.com, you can see all about her business. Her book is found on Amazon, and I cannot wait for you all to just continue to embrace and marinate, and she is looking for you. If you're looking for this type of work and this type of career, give her a call. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. If you liked what you saw, please don't forget to like the episode and to subscribe. See you soon. Take care.